What is up, guys? Mega Matt here with another pickups video for the month of May. I got quite a bit of stuff here. I wasn't expecting to get this much for this month. So, some garage sales stuff, so that's why I got a lot. So we're just going to jump right into it. First thing I'm going to show systems first. So, I saw this at my game store I go to. It was only, I think, $10, and I never owned, it's an original Game Boy. I never owned an original Game Boy, and usually, you know, the standard is white, but they had this unique color. I've never seen the Game Boy in this color, but this is a red original Game Boy. It's a pretty nice shape, too. It's got the back and everything. I put batteries in it, and it works just great, so it's a good pickup for $10. Next, I saw this on that mobile site Mercari that I've been searching on. Guy listed a DSi for $30, and normally I'd pass on it, but the reason I got this is because it included the box. So for $30, it did come with one game. It's Alice in Wonderland. Not a very good game, but here's the actual system, just a regular DSi. It's in pretty good shape. Does come with a charger and like a third-party stylus, but it also came with all the paperwork and the box. So, good deal there, I would assume. Okay, next, another garage sale pickup. This was the last part of the day of like my best garage sale day, which I'll get to in a bit. But this is another DSi system. This is a DSi XL. Walked up to the sale, and it was younger lady and her kid, was selling video games, and he had I think he had like a PS3, a 360. You know, I'm not really interested in that kind of stuff, the newer stuff, but he had a DSi sitting there, but he had $70 on it, so I was like, ooh, you know. It did come with games. It comes with a case, no charger. So I was like, he's like, oh, are you interested? And I said, yeah, but you know, 70 is not what I'm gonna pay. And he's like, would you do 60? I was like, I was thinking more like 40, and he's like, how about 50? And I was like, no, I was like 45. So he agreed on 45. So the games that came with it, not a lot of good games. Only a couple. I'll read off the not so good ones. Disney Bolt, Lego Star Wars 2, Indiana Jones, Lego, Narnia, Ben 10, and the best two in there were probably Spyro, Dawn of Darkness, and Mario Kart DS. And these are all loose too, no cases. But inside the case here is the actual system, and it's like really super clean. Like, this is probably the cleanest DS I've seen. There's like no scratches, very minimal scratches on the front. The screens are like really nice. Looks like you've like barely played it. So then the other thing that topped it off for me is this one also came with the box and all the paperwork. So 2 box DSis. So I'm not gonna complain there. Alright. Sorry, I got quite a bit of stuff here. Alright, moving on. Let's see. Sorry, guys. This is just a quick pickup. I now have all 3 of these games for the Super Nintendo in a set. I've been wanting to collect this because I think these games might go up in value, and they're a lot of fun. But this is Super Star Wars Return of the Jedi for the Super Nintendo. So I have all 3 now for the Super Nintendo. So happy to add that. This is kind of random, not random pickup, but some new games I bought. Yes, I bought some new games, not used. These were coming out, and I had these on my list, but I kind of forgot about them, so because I was getting all these other games. But this is for the 3DS. This is kind of a goofy. When I first heard about this, I was just it's kind of goofy to see this on a Nintendo 3DS, but it's a Sega 3D Classics Collection, and what this is a bunch of classic Genesis games that they put on the 3DS, which is weird. You got Power Drift, Puyo Puyo, the original Sonic, Alter Beast, Fantasy Zone 2, Galaxy Force 2, Fantasy Zone 2, I don't know which one that is, Maze Walker, and Thunderblade, but just real, I mean, it's so weird playing the first Sonic the Hedgehog on a 3DS, but that's cool. I thought that was neat, so. And then the next game I picked up for the Wii U. As you guys know, I've just bought a Wii U not too long ago. It was when my wife actually bought it. But we now have a Wii U, and this game was coming out, and I didn't think I'd be able to play it because I wasn't sure if I'd get a Wii U. But it's pretty fun. I'm going through it now. It's harder than previous games that have been put out here, but this is for the Wii U, Star Fox Zero, and it also comes with a bonus game called Star Fox Guard. I don't know if you guys can see that. I haven't played Star Fox Guard yet, but I've been playing through this, and it's been really good. It's kind of hard. Like I said, Star Fox 64 is what I can compare this to, because they kind of took the same type of levels and just kind of mixed them up a little bit. So, let's see. These next games I actually found at Walmart, which is bizarre because I never go to Walmart. But my buddy Jason has been, we've been noticing that Walmart has been carrying games that, shouldn't even be in print anymore. They either didn't sell or they have leftovers of them. I'm not sure the case. But one of the Walmarts I went into, I looked in their case, they had one PSP game, which is, I mean, weird. Nobody sells brand new PSP games anymore, not that I know of. But this is sealed and everything. I think it was like 12 or 13 bucks. But for the PSP, we have Third Birthday. You can kind of see it because of the glossiness there. This is kind of, if I'm not mistaken, what is this sequel to? Oh crap. See, I'm like drawing a blank right now. I want to say, I don't know. If you guys know, let me know in the comments. I can't really think right now. I've been talking about this too, and I'm drawing a blank. But anyway, then I went to Freeport, which is about 35-40 minutes from here, because I sold some games to a guy that wanted to meet up, and he lived in Dixon, and he told me we can meet at Freeport at the Walmart. So I met up with him, did the exchange and everything, and I just went inside just to see what they had, and I could not believe this when I saw. They had 3 copies of this still sitting there, and this is a game that has been out of print for, I want to say, at least a year. It's very hard to find. When you do find it, it's not cheap. This was $40. I know that kind of sounds like it's expensive, but when you look at what it goes for and everything, and this is brand new. Actually, I opened it because I kind of want to play it. But this is the big box version of Kid Icarus Uprising. And this is really hard to find. You can find the actual game everywhere, but to find the big box, and the big box, it actually just comes with a stand for your 3DS. I don't know if you guys could see that there. I guess it's easier to play that way. I don't know. I've never played this game, but I saw this, and like I said, they had 3 copies of this, which is really bizarre in my opinion. This game's been out of print, so it's just crazy. So awesome to add that. Okay. Alright, let's get into more. Let's see. Sorry guys, I've got a lot of stuff here, so I'll just show this one. This is another Wii U game I've been looking for. This was re-released in the Nintendo Select set that just came out. I didn't want a Nintendo Select copy of this. I wanted the original, and it's been harder and harder to find. I went with buddy Jason to, it was like a video game fighting tournament. It was called Combo Breaker. It was in a suburb of Chicago. But after that, we went to a GameStop, and they had a non-Nintendo Select copy of this, so I snagged it up right away. It's harder to find just a regular version of it, but for the Wii U, it's Pikmin 3. Never really played Pikmin, but I wanted to try this out, so I thought it'd be interesting. Alright, let's jump into some more garage sale stuff. So, what happened? There it is. The first week of garage sales kicked off last month, and I thought, every year I say, I'm not going to go garage sailing because there's a bunch of resellers out there, and, you're not going to really find anything, and if you do find something, it's going to be just leftover stuff. Well, the first week I went out, I didn't do so hot. I actually found this stuff at a church was having like a rummage sale type deal. So I was just in there looking around. I got there when they opened, and I went to where all the electronics were. And the only two things I found was I found a bag full of Nintendo DS cases, like the little plastic cases where it holds like, up to 3 or 4 or 5 games. I have them in a bag down there. I'm not going to pull them out. But I overlooked it, and I walked away. But then I saw this sitting there, which I've never seen this before, but it's kind of like a little handheld game. This is by, let's see, MGA Entertainment, Pac-Man Namco. But it's Pac-Man handheld. Pac-Man Color FX2 handheld. So I've never seen this, but it was $1, so I grabbed it. So then, as I was walking around, I was just kind of bummed. I went back to that table, and I noticed in that bag with all the DS games, they had $1 on that too. There was one game in the whole bag, and I overlooked it, and it's a good thing I came back because I would have, passed it up. But, for $1 was all those games and this little lonely GBA game. It's actually a decent title. So it's Super Mario Advance 3 Yoshi's Island. So for $2, I got the bag of DS things, the Pac-Man thing, and not horrible, I guess, but not a really good start to the garage sale season. So anyway, moving along, I went to the other side of town. They were having a huge community sale. I didn't find barely anything until I was actually somebody said they had a garage sale. I just messaged them asking if they had games, and said, "Oh yeah, we've got some games. We just have to dig them out." So they had 2 N64s and a stack of games and a couple controllers. So I was like, great. I'm definitely interested. What would you do for them? Whatever. They said, well, you can come over and look at it, and we'll talk about a price or whatever. So went over there. I think I paid. What did I pay? I don't remember. Probably $30 or something. But the systems did not work. One of the two they had 3 controllers. One was a third party. One was just a regular one, and another one, which is one I have right here that I kept that caught my eye right away, is this is the Atomic Green controller. This is kind of hard to find out of the colored N64 controllers. The worst part about this package thing is the people smoked and they left the systems in that in their garage, and they got all grody and nasty. And that's probably a reason why the N64s did not work. I mean, I could not get them to work. They didn't have the power cords or anything, so I had to use my own. I tried cleaning them and everything, just would not work. I had a stack of games. I only have 2 right here, and the reason is I will get to that next. But they had the games are actually some of them were decent titles. It was like BioFreaks, not Twilight Princess. That's GameCube. Ocarina of Time, Mario. I think there was a Donkey Kong in there. Some odds and ends. But then these 2 I kept. Well, this one I'll explain. This is the Collector's Edition Zelda Majora's Mask, which is a nice find in itself, but it's been cracked, and as you can see, there's a crack down the, you can't really tell, there was a crack down the middle there. It's missing some pieces down here. So I had to do a little surgery to get this thing to stay together. Which is why I didn't really trade it in, because I probably wouldn't get much for it anyway. But it does work. It's just in crappy condition. I don't know what it is with this gold colored cartridge thing. It's very brittle and it cracks very easily. And then the other game I kept for my collection, which I was happy to see this because this goes for $40 by itself. I have the first one. This is the second one. I'm looking for the third one. The third one's the most expensive out of all of them, of course. But we have Mario Party 2 for the N64. So all that was $40, even though half of it didn't work. And the other games I traded in, which brings me to my next pickup here at my game store. So went in there, saw this game in the case. I had some other games in my hand too. They had 50 on it, which I was like, ugh, $50. That's kind of high. But I've never seen this like game in the wild, and I didn't even see it at the Midwest Gaming Classic when I was there, unless it was, and I missed it. But I thought, you know what, $50. It goes for more than that. I think it goes for around 100, 80 to 100. But it's a PS1 title. It's a shoot 'em up. It's actually a lot of fun. It's really fun, but I'm gonna abuse how to say this, which I apologize. Is Einhander? I don't know how you say that, but this is a really fun shoot 'em up. It's so hard to find, and when you do find it, it's not cheap, obviously. So I had that, and I had these 2 games as well in my hand. These are for PSP. Not real big into the series, but they were cheaper. So we got Persona 1 and Persona 2. But I brought those 3 up there, and I was checking out, and I'm like, I saw a stack of games in the back, and I'm like, oh crap. And I'm like, hey, what are those games back there? And they were all GameCube games. I'm like, oh, here, we'll take a look. And I picked out 3 of them. And of course, 2 of them I pick out are $50, just like Einander. And I'm like, oh god, I've got all these games sitting here, and I don't have, enough credit. And, I would have been spending probably, $60, $70 with the credit. So I ran home and I got a bunch of stuff, including what I just showed, those N64 games with that bundle. And I ran back to the store, and I used up credit to buy most of this, all this stuff actually, with some left over. So, and the nice thing about the game store here is when you buy 5 games, you get the 6th one free. It's the cheapest one out of all your games, but this was the cheapest one. So I got this actually for nothing. It was, I think, $10 on there. So not bad. But the GameCube games I did get, which I've been looking for these, and like I said, they're not cheap. This was probably the cheapest one. But I had this game when I had a GameCube, and I don't know what happened to it. I must have traded it in. I can't find it. Jason was actually wanting my copy of it a while ago, and I told him I'd give it to him, but I could never find it. I don't know what happened to it. Like I said, I must have traded it in, but I finally got this back. This is actually kind of hard to find too, but we got Sonic Adventure 2 Battle, which is basically Sonic Adventure 2 on the Dreamcast, but it has a little bit of little minor differences, but it's basically the same game for the Dreamcast. But a lot of fun. And then the next one, this was, excuse me, $50. I still have not played this. I've been wanting this anyway. I have the first one. This is actually, I think, the second one, or it's a prequel. Like I said, I haven't played this, but hard to find game, Batten Kaitos Origins. I might have abused that too, but happy to add this and play it. And then the last game, which was the most expensive. I think this one had 55 on it, if I'm not mistaken. This was also a Dreamcast title. This, I believe, is the sequel. I don't know. Like I said, I don't really know because I didn't have a Dreamcast growing up. But I watched Jason play this game when he had a Dreamcast. I watched him play a lot of this game, and I got into it. Never played it, just watched him play it all the time at his parents' house when we were teenagers. But thought I'd give this a shot. This is hard, another rare title, but happy to add it. This is Skies of Arcadia Legends for the GameCube. Alright, and then as a bonus, I did not pay for this, which was nice to the game store because they know me so well. They got in a copy of Mega Man Soccer for the Super Nintendo, which is, not a great game whatsoever. And I'm like, oh, I already have it. Well, they had the, not only did they have the game, they had the manual. And I don't have the manual for it. I still need the box for it anyway. But they're like, hey, do you want the manual? And I'm like, sure. How much is it? Oh, you're buying all these games. We'll just give it to you for free. So that was pretty cool. That was a nice bonus to get the manual for free there. So, all right. Then moving on. Where are we at? We're almost at 23 minutes. I apologize, guys. This is going to be a long video, but so more game store grabs. I'll just go through them real quick here. My wife was wanting to play the Spyro series and the original Spyros for the PS1. So game store got these in, so I decided to snag them. We got Spyro 1 for the PS1 and Spyro Riptor's Rage for the PS1. I think that is the second one, if I'm not mistaken. I like survival horror games. Saw this. It was actually $10, pretty cheap, complete. Original Fatal Frame for the PS2. This was on Xbox, original Xbox, I believe. And then I don't have the first one of this yet, which I don't know why, but first one was on PS1. This is the second one for PS2. I've played a little bit of this. I haven't really gotten into it. This is Silent Hill 2 for the PS2. And this one I don't see. I've never seen this game before. And I decided to take a shot at it. Read the back of the game. And like I said, I think this was only like $5 or $6 too. But this is the X-Files Resist or Serve for the PS2. There's another game I have not played. It's a lot of games I haven't played. This, I believe, it was on the first one. This is the third one of this game. The first one I think was on Dreamcast and PS1. The second one I think is on PS2. I don't know. Like I said, this was cheap as well, so I'll play it, see what it's all about. But this is Grandia 3 for the PS2. And then this I was happy to see, and this was only $3, which is a phenomenal deal for this game. It's a shoot 'em up collection on the Wii, and it's got four. It looks like 4 games. Radio Allergy. Let's see, Karos, Chaos Field. But this is called the Ultimate Shooting Collection for on the Wii, and it's got 4 games on there, as you can see. This is kind of a hard one to find, I guess, and I think it goes for around 35 bucks. So for $3, I'm not gonna pass that up. I love shoot 'em ups in the first place. And then I found this. This is kind of a rare PSP game. This was only $10, which this game goes for 50 plus on eBay, which is crazy. It's an Atlas title. There's a lot of Atlas collectors out there. That's just becoming bigger and bigger and bigger. This is an RPG. I'll probably never get to it, or probably won't get into it. But this is Crimson Gem Saga for the PSP. All right. Now we'll get into more garage sale stuff and then the last couple things. Alright, so this was probably, I think last week, went to a sale, asked if he had video games. He said he had some Nintendo games. He ran inside. He brought these 3 out. I got these 3 for $5. So we got Dr. Mario for the NES. Kung Fu Heroes. I've actually never played this game, so... And then he had a copy of Super Mario Bros. Duck Hunt with the manual in a nice little Nintendo sleeve case. So that was a nice little $5 pickup. Alright, moving on to probably the best day of garage sailing I had. Or I should say the best 2 days. So went to another community sale about 20-25 minutes from here. There was about, I think there were 20 houses or so. So I was asking around, and nobody had video games until I got to this one little small sale where this kid only had like 2 tables set up, and I asked him if he had any video games, and he ran inside, and he's like, oh, I've got Xbox 360, PS3, and I'm like, well, I said, go ahead and bring them out. I said, but I'm like interested in the older stuff, and he's like, okay, well, he's like, my little brother's going to be here tomorrow. Why don't you just come back tomorrow and I'll see what he's got. And I'm like, well, I can give you my name and my number and you can call me. He's like, oh, you know what? Just come back tomorrow. I thought that was kind of weird, but it's a good thing I did, which I will get to in a minute. But I did get 2 games from him that day. These were $5 a piece. This is an expensive sports title, I think, because this is like the last one printed, I think. But for the 360 NCAA Football 14, this is like a $40 sports game, which is weird. Sports games are not. A lot of them aren't worth barely anything, like $2-3 at the max. And then this was $5 as well. I thought I'd pick this up just to have it. This has got 3 games on it, but it's all in HD remix. This is the Prince of Persia trilogy. So it has Prince of Persia, Sands of Time, Warrior Within, and the 2 Thrones. So I've been wanting to play Prince of Persia, just like I said, backlog's crazy, just haven't gotten around to it. So then I left that community sale, and I was going home and I saw a small sign for a garage sale, so I said, you know what the heck, I'll just stop. And I walked around the sale and I saw they had some video games sitting out and some actually decent ones, and this was like later in the day, so if any resellers would have snagged these up in a heartbeat, but these were $1 a piece. So, but for 360, you got The Sims 3, which I think still goes for $20 or so. And then this one I was kind of shocked to see still sitting there for $1. It has no manual, but it did come with a PS2 memory card. I already have this game, but to see this game in the wild, it's like kind of weird because this is an obscure title for the PS2, but it's Mr. Mosquito. So I thought that was pretty awesome for $1 to get Mr. Mosquito. Alright, so then the next day I go back to the guy's house. where I got those other 2 games, the Xbox 360 and PS3 game. And he's like, oh yeah, my little brother's here, you know, and he asked his little brother, hey, you want to sell any of your Game Boy games? And he's like, yeah. So he runs in and he comes out, and he only finds 1 game. And I'm like, oh boy, you know, this was kind of a bust. But the game he did find was decent. I paid $5 for it. I probably would have passed on it, but I kind of felt bad. You know, the kid dug in his room to find this game. But complete copy of Mario Party DS for the DS. Paid $5 for that. So I was kind of bummed by that, but so I noticed the next day there were a couple more houses that I didn't get to, or they weren't open the previous day. So I decided to stop at this one, and it was a lady, and she had a couple kids, a young son and that. As they had video games, she said, oh yeah, I've got my son has a Game Boy DS that he wants to get rid of. I was like, great, you know, could you go get it and I'll take a look at it, make you an offer? Sure, no problem. So I'm sitting there, you know, waiting, and comes out with a box, big box like this, and it's got what I got was a Nintendo. It was an SP, not a DS, but this is a black SP, just a regular SP. It's not the bright screen. The bright screens are called 101s. This is actually a 001. It's kind of hard to see. But came with that, a charger, and then the games I got with it is what made this sale great. I'll go through the Game Boy Advance games first, and then we'll do Game Boy Color and that. But some of these games are just cheap games, you know, chibi titles. This Fear Factor. This is Yu-Gi-Oh! Something, I don't know what it is. Atari Anniversary Advance. It's kind of a nice one. Disney Princess. Like I said. Robots. Disney's Robots. Namco Museum. Not bad. This one's actually good. Mario Luigi Superstar Saga. Pokemon Mystery Dungeon Red Rescue Team, and Pokemon Sapphire for Game Boy Advance. Those are the Game Boy Advance games. Now, what made this sale the best part was the Game Boy Color games. This is what I saw in the box, was a stack like this. And when you see colored GBA games, to me, I automatically think Pokemon games, but sometimes that's not the case because there's a couple games that are still colored like that. Like I can't remember. I think there's a Tony Hawk that's like yellow, or Donkey Kong Land is yellow and that. So I wasn't looking up for it. But as I started going through them, they were definitely Pokemon games. So, but we'll start with probably the least favorite one, which is SpongeBob SquarePants. This was nice to see. Zelda Link's Awakening. And then all the Pokemon games. We got Pokemon Red, Pokemon Blue, Pokemon Yellow, Pokemon Gold, and Pokemon Silver, which the bad part about it is they all have good save batteries except these two. But I looked up how to replace the save batteries, and if you just do a little bit of soldering work, which I'm going to need help with, but for like a couple bucks you can replace the battery and it'll work just fine. So all of those games were in this box here. So then I asked the lady, I'm like, what do you want for this? I'm thinking, what does he want? She's like, oh, I don't know. She's like, how about $70? And I was like, oh crap. And her son, luckily her son was still standing there, and her son's like, come on mom, $70, he's like, we don't even play these anymore. And she's like, okay. And he's like $40. And I was like, deal. That's worth it in its own. So for $40 I got all those games, a system and a charger, best garage sale find that I've had so far. So hopefully the luck continues, but we shall see. Alright, so, well, I'll show. I got a few more things left. Just hang on there, guys. I know this is a long video, but um, so, all right. A couple weeks ago, I went to a local comic book con that was in Rockford here that I didn't even know about. Jason actually told me about it, and my one of my other friends who's an artist, Raven, who did that Mega Man picture behind me, he was actually there as an artist, you know, doing drawings and stuff like that. And there was one guy selling video games, but a lot of his games were kind of high priced. He had a lot of sealed games, and he said a lot of these games were in his personal collection. Well, he had a game there that I had my eye on, and you know, I was talking to him for a good, you know, half hour, 45 minutes, and you know, I think he trusted me, so which is good. It's good to, you know, he's like, I can tell you're not a reseller. I can tell, you know, you seem like a good guy. He's like, he had 125 on this game. It's a complete in box Nintendo game. There's no way in hell I was gonna pay that much. He's like, well, let's just take that price away. What would you pay for this game? And I'm like, oh, you know, I don't really want to sound like a jerk. And he's like, no, just give me your price. And I was like, how about 70? And he's like, oh, you know, I'd be more comfortable in like the $100 range. And he's like, I was like, all right, how about 85? And he's like, 90 and you got a deal. So, you know, $90 is still expensive for one game, but this is a game I think is very underrated on the NES. I love this game. Probably one of my top 5 games. To have a complete in box copy and the shape it's in, the box isn't ripped or nothing. It's a really nice clean copy, but complete in box copy of Shatterhand for the NES. Awesome to have this. So, and then another guy on Facebook was selling complete in box NES games as well, and I was like, oh my god, you know, I'm just gonna go nuts here. This game I don't even have the cartridge for, but I've looked up gameplay. I've played it before, and it's really fun. It's kind of like Mega Man, so of course I love Mega Man, obviously. But it's that same style and everything. You pick a stage, you get a power after you beat the boss and everything. Another complete in box game. The box is in nice condition as well. I think I paid $60 for this, which a loose cart goes for around 40. So a complete in box copy for 60, not too bad in my opinion. But this is wampum for the NES. So happy to add that. This next game was part of a trade that me and Jason did. I got that yellow Dreamcast VMU for him, and he found me this game. This is another hard-to-find GameCube game. I'm getting quite a few GameCube titles lately, but played this. This is a lot of fun. Nice little violent slash and hack and slash, if you want to call it. But this is another kind of obscure title to find on the GameCube, and that's Killer 7. So. And then the last pickups here. This was on Memorial Day. Another garage sale. Actually, I was going out of town with Jason and his mom. We were going to IKEA in Schaumburg to look at furniture and stuff. And they picked me up, and they're like, "Oh, did you check out that yard sale? Right, you know, 2 houses down." I'm like, "What are you talking about? You know, I didn't know there was a yard sale." So I was like, well, go have a look. So I, you know, walked down there, asked the lady if she had any video games. She said yes. She said she had a Sega Genesis with like 30 games. So I was like, you know, super pumped. But said she couldn't find it. So she brought out some GameCube games. Look at more GameCube games, right? And some PS2 games. A lot of them I passed on, but these are all $1 a piece, by the way. So fantastic deal, you know, but I will just go through what I got here. This I picked up actually for my wife too, because she likes Super Monkey Ball. But this is Super Monkey Ball Deluxe for the PS2. I guess it's just like Super Monkey Ball with more like mini games. But for these were $1. These GameCube games were $1 a piece, and some of these titles are really nice. So all of them are complete, I think, except one. So we got Crash Bandicoot: The Wrath of Cortex, Naruto Clash Ninja, Naruto Clash of Ninja 2, Mario Kart Double Dash, which is like, I want to say $40 on its own, $30. Legend of Zelda Wind Waker. This one has no manual, unfortunately, but this is another like $30 game. And then Super Mario Sunshine, which another $30 game right there. So $1 a piece. Can't complain for that one. So, and then the last pickup. We're at 41 minutes. Holy crap. The last pickup on Memorial Day, I went to my game store. I saw this in the case. They actually said they were going to call me about it, but they decided not to. So it's a good thing I showed up. This was like $40. Goes for $80. But it's complete in box for the Sega Genesis. Nice little shoot 'em up. Contra Hardcore. Or you say, or is it Hard Corpse or is it Hardcore? I've been told it's Hardcore. So, I don't know. But super, super glad to have that to the collection. So, and that's it. Yes, that is it, guys. That is all I have for this month. Crazy, crazy month. Like I said, I'm going to keep garage sailing, and we'll see what June brings us, and hopefully I get some more good games and everything. But appreciate you guys watching till the end. Like I said, I apologize for the video, but until I see you guys next month, take care.